Hey everybody, and welcome to Paper Crafting with Tammy. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. It is awesome to see you here. I have a great project for us today that we're going to start on in just a minute. If you haven't done it yet, take a minute and hit that big red subscribe button so you see what else I've got for you next time, and let's get started. Hey Paper Crafting friends, thanks so much for tuning in today. Today's video is going to feature this Bloom de Fleur paper stack from Park Lane. There are several different papers in here, most of which there's two of, and then there's a few that are specialty papers that there's just one of. Now, keeping in mind that when I create kits from these paper stacks, I am creating them for future classes that I'm going to be able to offer at events. So I always make sure that I can get two sets out of every paper stack. So when there is a specialty paper, you're going to notice that I have cut that in half so that I would be able to provide that to two different people. So just kind of keep that in mind as you watch what I'm doing here. I am going to go off camera for a minute. I'm going to take one of each page out of here. I'm going to do the cutting on those specialty papers. And then I'm going to come back and start figuring out how I could create class kits for future layouts out of this paper stack. So especially if you own this stack, you're going to want to check that out and see kind of the logic that I use for doing that. I know that many of us have paper stacks sitting on our shelves that we don't get to and that we don't use. We love them, we buy them because they're beautiful, and then they sit there. So my goal is to help you not just have it, but use it. So thanks again for tuning in, and I'll be right back. This is really a fantastic paper stack. So let me just do a quick preview, and then I'll show you how I would start matching this up for pages. So there are a couple of pages of sentiments that are included in this stack, okay? So that's a really nice feature right off the bat. It's already got some really cool included design cards and things. They do both have designs on the back. So if you're not one who would potentially use the sentiment cards, then you've got those back sides to look at. Okay, I'm gonna flip through the stack real quick. This is just a really beautiful deep green with some small clusters of flowers. We've got the wood. This is a deep burgundy with the gold foiling. Green on the back. This is a real beautiful magenta with some small flowers. And then a small floral print. This one's green and cream. Backside is that beautiful burgundy. We've got the pink with a gold design on that. Hopefully you can see the shimmer. Backside is kind of a burgundy color. This floral with the deep green. There's another foil embossed piece with a beautiful big floral on the back. Another floral with the pink design on the back. And then at the back of the stack, there were also two sheets of each of these colors. So if you own this stack, these may be your background sheets. You could easily do 4 different layouts with these background sheets. Again, because I do them for classes, that's probably not how I will use them. I'll probably include these for things like photo mats. So they're all two-sided, so you definitely have a lot of choice and flexibility with these different colors of solids. And then here are the sheets. There were just one of these in the stack, and these are the ones that I went ahead and cut in half. So this is a vellum with a gold printed design on it. You've got a clear piece of like an acetate that's got some printing on it, floral print. Kind of a light brown with a really beautiful gold embossed design. And then you've got craft paper with the green leaves, craft paper with the floral, and then this is kind of a really, really interesting texture wood grain. Okay. So lots of cool stuff to work with here. The part that I will not put into the equation are going to be these. I'm going to go ahead and set these sentiment cards aside because until I know how I'm going to let the other papers play together, these for me would come after. So I'm going to set those aside. I know there's some neat designs on the back, but I am going to just take those out of the equation. So my next step is always to start looking for really dominant patterns that catch my eye. Okay, so I think the first one as I was going through that really struck me was this particular floral. Okay. And man, there's just so much that I could do off of this floral. So I'm going to set this one aside because that's definitely going to be one of my major players. I'm going to set my solids off to the side because they'll come in at the end for me. And my goal is usually to make 3 or 4 classes out of a paper stack. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I'm looking here. This is another really dominant, beautiful piece. And I think you could make a really elegant layout with this. So I'm going to put that one right there. So that's going to be another kind of a grounding piece. And I want to look at both sides of these. Okay. And I am going to play with it a little bit to see what my third one is going to be. It might actually be one of these because man, some of these craft pieces are just gorgeous. So I would probably go next with either this floral again, or might tone it down a little bit and do more of just a leafy one. So I'm going to kind of see how those play out. So let's start seeing what we could match well with this one. I know I'm going to want to bring in some of this beautiful deep green, and I'm going to want to keep this one on a little bit lighter palette. So this one actually has some different flexibility in it, both with the deep green on this side and then the smaller floral print. So maybe that one. This one is another good option. It's got a really coordinating floral. I'm just not sure if it might be a little too much. And then that's a really beautiful color match too. So for right now, I'm going to hold those together and decide what else I want to pull with this. So the back side is a green. Okay. So keeping in mind, I could still in a class use a piece of this and a piece of this, right? So that's a really pretty jumping off place. I don't want to do just the gold prints because that's going to be way too much. So I could see this with a little bit lighter color going along with it. Something like this to kind of work on that elegance piece. I'm going to go ahead and pull that in now. I will probably use this here as well. Even though it's got more of the print, it's a much smaller print. It's got the gold foiling. And then I'm looking for maybe another burgundy to bring into that. So I'm just trying to see what else I've got. Might end up being this one. because I love that this has a little bit more of that floral touch. Just watching to see how those colors play off of each other. Yeah, so I think that's going to be my second set. So let me see if I can put these in a way that helps here. I'm going to flip this one over so you can see that green, because that's really why I picked it. Okay. And then working on this last one. So I really love this green with the small floral print. And this would play really nicely with this craft paper that also has the green. And then look at this. Isn't that pretty? I think bringing this in along with it would be really lovely. I've also got that wood piece, and I think between all of those, that in and of itself would be gorgeous. So there's set 3, and I'll show all of these again at the end, because I know I'm pushing some of them off camera because I'm running out of space. So then when I look at what I have left, I've got this piece here that's got this pink design on one side and this really pretty kind of magenta. So yeah, I actually think that what I have left would go really well. So you've got that magenta tone here, the craft paper with the floral. You've got this craft paper with the really beautiful design on it, and then this overlay. And then I also have solids that I can bring in. So while this doesn't look like a lot to create a layout with, by the time you add some background papers and start thinking about borders and embellishments and things, this is really plenty, especially if I'm going to use a solid for photo mats. So I think that my bring in for this one would probably be like a deep green. So I think that's going to be my add there. And then I've got these 2 left that I may or may not use. This pink would actually be a really nice bring in here, either the light pink or this kind of mid-tone. I actually really like that mid-tone the best. Keeping in mind that I do still have back sides of these, right? So there's this that would be really beautiful too. And then on the back side of this one, there's that. So lots to play with for that set. So the only thing I really have left at this moment is this one, and it's got a really bright pink side, and then it's got this beautiful deep burgundy side. So if I needed something else here on this green one, this deep burgundy would be a pretty tie-in here. It's almost brown, it's so dark. So that's an option and something that I could consider, just doing a little bit of highlighting with this, maybe 1/2-inch strips to tie together borders, something like that. So let me show you what I've got so far, and you can decide if it's the way that you would split it up. So here we've got the green print and then the craft papers. Now this is funny, it's actually 3 of those specialty papers that I cut in half, but it would give me plenty to go off of here. And then pulling in that deep burgundy. Okay, so there's one set. Then there's this one using kind of a cream tone, and then the burgundy with the really beautiful gold foil. And then there's the cream with the foiling, and then another accent page. Nope, don't like that. So yeah, I would probably end up using this one. I would say this piece is the only one that for me is still kind of a wild card. I'm not positive that that's exactly how I would do that. It's possible that I would end up deciding that I wanted to bring in this burgundy solid that I had put with that other layout and maybe use this here. Kind of like that better than that printed one. And then I could maybe use this one here. That's a possibility if I wanted to lighten it up a little bit. So lots of choices. For now, I think I'll keep that there. This one has the solid kind of evergreen color. And then the craft, a couple of different craft pages, the clear overlay, and then this kind of magenta that could go either way, but I think this really deep color would be what I would go with here. And then the last one, I just showed you actually. It's the big floral, the evergreen pattern, the small floral print, and then this pink. And then the back sides of this one are really beautiful as well. So those were the 4 that I would end up making with this. And I will start looking at how I would divide these cards up so that they would make sense with these layouts and be some really beautiful accent pieces. So hopefully that gets you thinking about how you could split up the paper stacks that you own. This is a particular company, this Park Lane. I got these through Joann's. So I'm not sure where else they're available, but that was where I found them. And I will start creating layouts with these as I have time, and I will share those videos with you as well. So thanks for tuning in today, and I hope I got you thinking. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.